NBC 15 News starts now.
Cleanup begins. In-depth coverage on Ivan, the aftermath. Information you need to know right now. It's new at noon. NBC 15 News starts right now. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Walker.
And I'm Nicole Patrick. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, September 17th. Hurricane Ivan whipped into Georgia, killing at least 3 as it brought hard rains, heavy winds, and some tornadoes to the state. Several people had to be rescued from their homes overnight as floodwaters rose. Numerous roads are blocked by floodwaters, down trees and power lines. Now, among the 3 deaths being blamed on the storm in Georgia, a 6-year-old girl swept away from a mobile home park in floodwaters.
The death toll is right now at least at 24 overall from Ivan. Cleanup will take months, in some cases even years. NBC's Bob Keeling with the latest now from Gulf Shores.
Hurricane Ivan's storm surge dumped tons of debris. Now consider this for a second. The residential neighborhood where we are is about a mile inland. And that's why it's difficult to determine where the Gulf ends and the shores begin.
Hurricane Ivan has blown the shine right off of much of Florida's Emerald Coast. From Panama City and into Alabama, a debris field stretches more than 100 miles.
Devastation to downtown, all the boats and all the properties along the water building. But we'll survive, we'll keep going.
Barrier Island homes and buildings have collapsed. Ivan tossed boats and gouged away long stretches of beach, depositing sand everywhere. Residents aren't being allowed to return home until disaster teams can find what the floodwaters have yet to reveal.
From a water and sewer standpoint, we've got the majority of the entire county is without those services now. They're working hard to get their hands around what they need to do to repair that, but it's going to be some time.
Crews are just beginning the big job of restoring power for hundreds of thousands without. This man waded back to his Gulf Shores, Alabama home to find mementos floating through the backyard.
All I saw was the horns. Just saw the horns sticking out.
Restaurant owner Owen Gray didn't get as much damage, so he's giving food and drinks to hungry police and rescue workers.
So it's going to be tough on everybody when they come back and see the devastation, because seeing it on television is one thing, but seeing it in person is another.
Some residents are finding the trip home tough. This stretch of Interstate 10 is among miles of roads washed away. The driver of this abandoned 18-wheeler is among many still missing.
Now, the remnants of this monster storm are dropping flooding rains and causing widespread power outages as far north as Tennessee and North Carolina. And back here locally, they're looking for a 12-foot, 1,000-pound escaped alligator named Chucky. That's the latest from Gulf Shores, Alabama. I'm Bob Keeling. Let's go back to you.
Thanks, Bob. And a reminder to those who don't have power, please be careful when burning candles in your home. Around 11 o'clock last night, mobile firefighters were called to this home on Dawes Road in West Mobile. When they arrived, they found the house on fire. The cause of the fire is under investigation, but fire investigators believe the fire was caused by a burning candle knocked over. Unfortunately, no one was hurt. Well, there are 700,000 people statewide still without power. Alabama Power says the outage is so bad statewide they have to draw crews from states like Texas and Minnesota. This morning, 195,000 people in Mobile were without power, but they are restoring power to more and more people in Mobile. In areas like Dauphin Island, though, it reportedly may take a lot longer, days, even weeks. And they are restoring power to those who need it most first.
Nursing homes, hospitals, fire protection, police protection, those areas that provide basic emergency services for Alabama citizens.
And Pensacola is now picking up the pieces. People there don't have any power. Residents are trying to rebuild their lives.
The beautiful Gulf Coast city now just a shadow of its former self. Meteorologist Tim Hedrick with our Clear Channel station in Cincinnati has been covering Ivan for us, and you actually spent the majority of the hurricane, at least the eye passing over you, in the satellite truck in Pensacola, right in the middle of everything.
Now, I'll tell you what, it was a nasty night without question, and that may be underselling it. When you get winds of 100 to 110 miles per hour whipping by, and we made a conscious decision to put that satellite truck behind a big concrete wall to protect the satellite truck and ourselves. And it turned out okay. We probably had less damage where we were than many of the hotels along Pensacola Boulevard. This was a tremendously large storm, much larger than Opal of the past. Not only did you have the storm surge in Pensacola, of about 16 feet, which destroyed many of the marinas. You also had the winds in excess of 100 miles per hour. So you put those two together, and you just have tremendous damage. I heard one power official down in the Pensacola area say what took 80 years to build, the infrastructure of the power network, took 5 hours to take down.
Wow.
Everything's gone, the substations, the transformers, everything to the bare roots. And I think it'll take weeks for many residents in Pensacola to get back power, maybe longer on some of the islands like Santa Rosa, Orange Beach, and places like that.
Now, you mentioned this video we're looking at doesn't do any justice.
No, you know, you can go out with a photographer and you can stop every 100 feet in Pensacola and shoot new video. And once you're out to the islands, you don't have to go that far. You can just continuously roll. You could show video all day long, 24 hours a day of what things are like in Pensacola and on the beaches. So many of the bridges are gone that they're going to have to rebuild and reconstruct. And so many people are in hotels from the beaches, and a lot of them with 1/8 of a tank of gas are going back home. And you have to wonder, well, they're worried about looters, but other than that, there's nothing for them at home. There's no food, there's no water, there's no gas, there's no power, and the situation is going to be very tough for a long period of time.
What was the strangest thing that you saw, like wrong thing in the wrong place, just something completely out of place that might have been just blown up on shore by the hurricane? I know we've seen some boats that were up against trees.
You know,
way out
when
of
we
place.
were down at the Port of Pensacola, there was a 15-foot by 20-foot metal door from the port. And on the inside, it was evidently metal on metal, so it must have floated like a boat. But it floated our way with the storm surge for a good half mile.
Wow.
And you look at this thing and you think, you know, that had to come from a half mile away down at the Port of Pensacola, all the way into downtown Pensacola. And it was just an absolute mess across downtown Pensacola. The Brownsville area, I drove through there yesterday, and there must be 75,000 trees down in Pensacola.
And a lot of those probably just sheared off at the top, a lot of the pine trees and everything, from either tornadoes or just the tough winds that went through them.
Right, or were weakened by the heavy rains, and then just simply came down on power lines and everything else. It's going to be a big job down in Pensacola and all over the Gulf Coast.
Wow. Thank you, Tim.
We appreciate
really
your work.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Thanks for
helping
having
us
me.
out.
Great job. Well, a nighttime countywide curfew.
I'll take that one. For Okaloosa County will be in effect from 7 tonight until 7 in the morning. That's a nighttime curfew, 7 tonight until 7 in the morning for Okaloosa County. Governor Jeb Bush spending today touring the areas of the Panhandle left devastated by Ivan. It's, of course, not easy to get around since Pensacola has turned nearly into an island because of those 2 damaged bridges. About 2,000 National Guardsmen are providing help there. President Bush, meanwhile, will tour Alabama this weekend to see firsthand the destruction of Hurricane Ivan. The White House says President Bush will tour Lower Alabama and Florida on Sunday. Bush signed disaster declarations for Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana to speed up the federal assistance. He is still waiting on the papers from Florida to sign. Right now, the Atlanta Bread Company has a truckload of water that they're giving out. Emergency management officials have established a distribution center in Milton, Florida. It is located at 6495 Caroline Street. Other centers will be set up as soon as possible at these locations: Navarre High School, Bruno's in Gulf Breeze, Walmart at Tiger Point, and Jay Community Center. The distribution will consist of 1 gallon of water per person, 20 pounds of ice per family, and meals ready to eat. In Mobile, Pritchard Stadium, Big Lots in Saraland, Sims Community Center, the Mobile Civic Center, and at the Mobile Dog Tracks.
Now, if you're stuck and have a lot of damage, the Federal Emergency Disaster Assistance Program is offering assistance. Here's what you need to do. Call 1-800-621-3362. And here are the numbers to call for insurance purposes. Alpha, 1-888-435-7765. Allstate, 1-800-547-8676. Cincinnati Casualty, 1-877-242-2544. Farmers, 1-800-435-7764. And the numbers go on. You can also Hartford, 1-800-243-5860. And nationwide, 1-800-421-3535. State Farm, 1-800-732-5246. Foremost, 1-800-527-3907. American Modern, 1-800-375-2075.
If you're cleaning up today and need to know where to take the trees that have fallen in your yard, several landfills are open. The Magnolia Landfill, McBride Landfill, and Bay Minette Transfer Station are open until 3 o'clock. In Mobile, Cottage Hill, and Leroy Stevens, that landfill is open. Remember, you can bring trees and lumber and debris, but no food-related items. Some area gas stations are starting to reopen now. We've got one at Chevron at Azalea, the Chevron on Azalea, 399 Azalea Road, Donovan's Car Wash, Highway 90 at I-65, Murphy USA on South University Boulevard near Cottage Hill, that one is open. N&N Food Mart, 3451 Spring Hill Avenue, the Old Shell Road Convenience Store at 6567 Old Shell, and the Citgo Super K at 7160 Airport Boulevard. Oh, we've got another
we got
few
more
things
openings.
there. Yeah, there you go.
Bankhead and George Wallace Tunnel open. Raceway gas station at Ziegler and Schillinger. Target and Daphne and West Mobile. Target at Bel Air opens at 6 p.m. All Dolphin Street restaurants and bars, and Lowe's, all Mobile, Baldwin County Lowe's stores except for Foley. And still to come at noon, if Hurricane Ivan knocked out your phone service, you may not have to wait for Bell South to restore it. You may be able to do it yourself. Find out how. You're watching NBC 15 News at noon on WPMI.
The first step to your perfect wedding is a visit to the Wedding Guide on WPMI.com. Let our sponsors help you choose from the latest contemporary to traditional styles. Select your perfect gown, tuxedos, catering, and accessories all in one location. Make your wedding as perfect as it can be. Visit the Wedding Guide on WPMI.com.
When you see news breaking on the Gulf Coast, dial 602-1558 or star 15 on your singular wireless phone.
Introducing Point Play at Beau Rivage. Point Play lets you manage your player's club account right at your machine. You won't miss a minute of the action now that you can redeem your free play and bonus points at your machine. And with no coupons to exchange or club lines to stand in, you'll have more time to play and win. Get to the point with Point Play, only at Beau Rivage. A feeling like no other.
One area hit hard by Hurricane Ivan, Dauphin Island.
Dauphin Island was hit very hard. We've got John Watkins there. We're going to get to him as soon as we can in just a couple of moments. But, oh, we do have John on the phone? Okay, well,
okay, we don't have John on the phone right now.
I thought we might have him. We do not have him right now. We have Baldwin County Superintendent Dr. Farron Hollinger on the phone.
Okay, we don't have Farron Hollinger right now. Just really quickly, Scott, I was going around the area, surveying the area here in Mobile County, since I do the Kids in Schools beat, looking at schools. A lot of the schools I went to here in Mobile County, luckily, knock on wood, doing okay. However, we don't know how they're doing in Baldwin County right now, so maybe when we talk to him on the phone, he can tell us about that.
I know there was some concern, especially in Baldwin County, about not even using shelters because they couldn't sustain the type of winds that Ivan was going to bring on shore. So hopefully, good news there. We didn't really hear a lot of damage reports yesterday from Baldwin County, so hopefully that's a good sign.
Hopefully it is.
We can also let you know right now that meanwhile, Ivan causing all these problems, high school football games are canceled for tonight. They're not actually canceled, they're just postponed. The games that were set to be played tonight will actually be played in week 10. The week 10 games will be moved back a week. The playoffs will be moved back a week. So it's kind of a domino effect. But the games from this week will be played in week 10. Auburn's game against LSU will go on as scheduled at Auburn. Alabama's game against Western Carolina will be played as scheduled.
I know a lot of people are happy about that game.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Which one? Okay, now we're going to talk about you've heard about these zoo animals that are loose, right? The Gulf Coast Zoo, some of the animals had to be let go and just kind of got out into the floodwaters. There was a goat that was loose. I think there was a llama that was loose, and there were goats. Did I say the goats?
Yeah, goats, llamas.
We had the deer, and there's an alligator, a 12-foot alligator named Chucky that's still on the loose.
Wow. I think Gary Touchman is going to have that story. He has the details.
The husband of the zoo director in Gulf Shores, Alabama, is now doubling as an alligator hunter. The zoo is underwater from Hurricane Ivan, and several alligators got away. Unfortunately, for safety reasons, some will have to be killed.
It was over our heads right here.
Almost all of the other animals were evacuated before the hurricane, but also on the loose, 13 deer who could not be moved before the storm.
We opened the doors. We knew they could swim. They're in full antlers right now. They do not sedate, nor do they move real well.
Patty Hall has been director of the zoo for 5 years. This is how the Barrier Island main street near the zoo looked as the storm rolled in. And hours later, the same street under 9 feet of water in spots. One of the deer was spotted frantically swimming in the waters. Another was found and will be okay after being shot with a tranquilizer dart.
Buildings back in the park and most of the animals are kept were completely underwater.
Alligators were seen under that water, including this particular one spotted by a CNN photographer, which the zoo desperately wants to catch alive.
But we were real interested in our big boy, who is Chucky, and he is about 12 feet and weighs anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 pounds. It could pull you down, drown you, and swallow you.
Another alligator was found and killed. Chucky, though, is still on the loose. Gary Tuckman, CNN, Gulf Shores, Alabama.
And we have Dr. Farron Hollinger with the Baldwin County School System Superintendent there on the line. Dr. Hollinger, have you gotten out and had a chance to see any of these schools, and what's the situation there?
Yes, ma'am. Went out early yesterday morning as soon as we could. Had an opportunity to personally examine schools in the central Baldwin, South Baldwin area. What I was able to determine yesterday, we had extensive damage at Orange Beach Elementary, at Foley Intermediate, at Robertsdale Elementary. I was surprised, in fact, to see how well the schools in Gulf Shores did fare. We certainly have some roof damage there, but we didn't have any major structural problems. I've learned today that, and I have a full team out today to assess all of our schools. The feedback I've gotten thus far is that we have extensive damage at Bay Minette Middle School and probably some additional damage at some of our other schools across the system. So we have certainly experienced some significant damage in the Baldwin County schools.
Now, Dr. Hollinger, as you mentioned, several schools affected by this. This may be too early to ask this question, but any idea what the game plan would be if these students were not able to go back to these schools anytime soon?
I'll tell you what we're doing. We're waiting to get those damage reports back. I have my cabinet level staff in a meeting today waiting to get that. We're discussing particular scenarios or potential scenarios that we may employ in the event that happens. I think, first of all, we have to determine which schools would be operable, which schools are going to require the most extensive repair. Then I believe we would begin to look at some model or some plan specific for opening schools. Our goal will be to open schools as quickly as we can.
All right, thank you, Dr. Farron Hollinger, and of course, we'll keep you updated as they keep us updated.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you would help us out, I would like to communicate that we want all of our principals, our central office administration staff, all 12-month personnel to report to work at 8 a.m. on Monday.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hollinger. That's very important. All principals and administrative staff report to work at 8 o'clock on Monday.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, weather is up next. Ivan is now gone, and our weather is actually getting a little bit better. We'll talk about the weekend forecast, let you know how that will help improve your cleaning up conditions when we come back after this short break, so stay with us.
Look around the storm-ravaged areas of our state and you will see that our communities are stronger than ever. In the face of hurricane season, Winn-Dixie stores are staying open as long as safely possible and reopening quickly to serve our customers. Some items may be temporarily out of stock, but we're working around the clock to get the items you need back on the shelves. It's what neighbors do for each other. And we've been your neighbor for over 75 years.
Now, your pinpoint forecast on NBC 15 with meteorologist Jim Losnica.
Well, welcome back, everybody. So far, it's been a pretty nice Friday afternoon. The remnants of Ivan are now way up off the edge of this map, moving up towards Georgia and the Carolinas, and now moving away. And again, we're on that southwestern flank of the system, so because of that, we're getting that strong northwesterly flow moving on in here, and a strong northwest wind will stay with us not only today, but again tomorrow and again on Sunday. And that's good news because what that means is that all the water that's built up here on the beaches the past few days will slowly be pushed back out into the Gulf of Mexico. Also, the air is a little bit drier than it has been, so that'll help kind of evaporate the water that's been standing around thanks to all the rain, the good 8 to 15 inches worth we picked up yesterday from Ivan. And again, regional radar, regional Doppler right now, very quiet, nothing rain-wise to worry about, and all that mess now moving up north and east of Atlanta. By the way, Atlanta and Birmingham and Montgomery and Auburn, significant tornado problems yesterday, but their weather also improving. So if you're worried about family members up there, their weather also getting a little bit better. And if you're watching us via the internet and you're trying to come back down to Mobile and you're in Atlanta or Birmingham or Montgomery, again, the weather and the travel should be fine going up into this upcoming weekend. Let's take it closer with Sky Tracker radar right now. And again, nothing to worry about around our city. Doppler radar is quiet right now, and it will stay that way from, again, now to maybe early Monday morning. And it's very warm outside, but the humidity is low. It's like 40 to 50% right now, so there's no worry about a heat index this afternoon with that dry wind that'll help you click that water to evaporate as those northwest winds hit them this afternoon. So 85 now in Mobile and a pair of 84s in Pascagoula and Pensacola. Now for the rest of the day, here's what we think we'll be seeing. Maybe some clouds around towards 2 to 3 o'clock with daytime highs topping out at 90. Towards sunset, we'll lose the heat of the day and the sunlight of the day, so it will be a dark night, although our sky planner here is showing some city lights up. We're trying to be optimistic as far as the lighting situation goes, but again, another night probably in the dark for most of you, and temperatures eventually cooling down. We'll probably see some spots with lows tonight in the mid to upper 60s, although in Mobile I think we're down around 70 coming up overnight tonight. We're going to get back to our local weather in just a minute. I want to update you real quick on a system we're going to watch over the weekend. It's Tropical Storm Jean, right now moving west-northwest at 8 miles an hour, top winds at 65 miles an hour, and the storm's at 19.5 north, 71.2 west. Now, we're looking at the forecast to say, well, why do we have to worry about it? Well, this is only a 3-day forecast, taking it almost equidistant with the city of Daytona Beach, right about where Francis was a couple of weeks back. And there is still some indication in the long-range forecast of a lot of uncertainty. The system could end up back in the Atlantic. Depends on where Ivan goes, by the way, because Ivan could end up somewhere near the Carolinas and deflecting the system back down to the south. So Jean could, in fact, move across Florida into the Gulf, or Jean could move back down to the south and west and move through the Florida Strait. So, again, only on a 3-day forecast, basically near Florida, but in the longer term, towards 5, 6, and 7 days on down the road, there's a possibility it may try and come back to the west. So we'll be here watching that one over the weekend. But for now, in the short term, no worries about anything tropical. As Jean here right now sitting and spiraling over the island of Hispaniola, specifically near the Dominican Republic, and will move back to the north and west through the weekend. Okay, with that said, let's go back to our local maps and get you a better idea of where Ivan is now situated up across the northeast. And you see Ivan moving away up towards the Carolinas, up towards the Virginias, and moving on out. This red box still a tornado watch, and they're expecting a significant tornado outbreak today in most of South Carolina and North Carolina as Ivan kind of sweeps on off to the east. Kind of the same thing we saw yesterday and most of the overnight hours on Wednesday morning leading up to the landfall of Ivan. As far as temperatures go right now, well, it's rain cooled to our north and cloud cooled to Birmingham and Atlanta, but Raleigh's at 82 ahead of the rain. Little Rock's at 83 right now in the sunshine. We're almost officially at 80 in Mobile, or excuse me, almost officially at 90 in Mobile, and it is right now 90 in Baton Rouge. And our next 5 days, we'll keep those daytime highs near 90, but the humidity will be low, so don't really worry too much about the heat. I know it will be hot, and keep this in mind. We don't have a lot of power out there. It may be a few days without power, maybe a few days without the essentials, so with all the heat, you got to remind everybody just to be patient. So don't let the heat get to you. Don't let the heat break you down this weekend. Just be patient and have some patience as you go out and do your duties this weekend.
Thank you, Jim. Well, for those of you out in Baldwin County, the Daphne Civic Center, is a huge distribution site, and that's where we find Darwin.
Yep, he's there. Darwin, are there a lot of people there right now?
Hey, Scott, Nicole, I can't hear you real well. We don't have ear communications, you know, the earpieces that we wear, and they're not working over here. And the noise is so crazy over here, I can't hear you off the TV monitor. So I'll assume you said it's nice to see me. But it's nice to see what's going on behind us. You've seen a lot of damage over the past few days. Well, here's some comforting pictures right now. Take a look at this, Daphne Civic Center. We've got water, we've got MREs. You know what an MRE is? We've heard us talk about it. They're meals ready to eat. They're being distributed, food, water, ice, and the lines just keep on coming. People lined up here before noon today. How you doing? Real quick here, I want to go talk to this lady. How are you, sweetheart?
Fine. How are you today?
I'm fine. What's your name?
Valerie Jackson.
Valerie, where are you from?
I'm from Daphne.
Okay. How was the storm on you?
Well, I was blessed. Nothing happened to my home. Nothing happened to a lot of people in my community. There's been some, some things happening as far as roofs caving in, but thank God no one was, hurt or, dead.
Yeah, we're very thankful for that. Of course, we still got to eat and we still got to drink, right?
We got to function.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you go ahead and get what you need. There's some limits, and I'm going to share with our viewers in a minute what the limits are, but you have a safe day, and we'll all be thankful, right?
All right. Yes, sir. And thank you very much, darling.
All right, dear. You too, sweetheart. Okay. We know that you need some information about how you can get food, water, and ice, and it's going to be all over the county in Baldwin County very soon, but I'm going to call in Ken Aslava of Daphne Public Works. And Ken, let's talk about limits here. First of all, there's no charge for this, right?
No charge. We're helping the needy here. That's correct.
And this is FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and being distributed by you folks over here at Daphne Public Works, right?
That's correct. Daphne Public Works, Daphne Police, and Daphne Fire Department.
Now, I want to find out, first of all, where this food and water comes from.
Well, actually, I couldn't tell you its a point of origin, but it was staged in Montgomery, delivered to the Emergency Management Agency this morning for check-in, and then brought directly here.
Let's talk about limits, what people can actually take home with them, and really I think you guys are trying to load people up for a couple of days per person, right?
That's correct. We're trying to get them as much food, water, and MREs. That's the packaged food that the military is so famous for. Enough for 2 days, and we can invite them back then.
Okay, from what I understand, it's per person 6 packages of water, 6 MREs, meals ready to eat, and a minimum of 2 ice, but if you have more in the family, they'll give you a little bit more ice, but there's a limit on that too, right?
That's correct, and if vehicles show up with 2 families aboard, we're loading them up to take care of them. That's our main focus, is to take care of the people.
Now, we have other areas opening these commodity stations. I know you say Spanish Fort, Fairhope, but as we get further into the disaster area toward eastern Baldwin County, there will be others, correct?
Absolutely. I believe all commodity sites that can open will be open. Obviously, the ones on the beach that were originally scheduled would have to be moved inland, probably to Foley.
Okay, no doubt Foley's opening as quickly as they can. If they're not open in your community, they will soon. And Ken, we wish you all the best of luck. I know this is a big job, but this is the pictures that we're glad to see after all the devastation we've looked at the past 2 days. So thank you very much, and we'll keep the public informed where they can get relief. This is very important to all of us, just the comforts of food, ice, and water, and it's being provided to you by FEMA, of course, the federals, and also being distributed locally by your local cities and agencies. So thank them when you get it, because they're working out here as hard as you're trying to deal with your properties at home. So we'll be back a little bit later on. We're going to relocate and try to bring you what's happening in recovery efforts in other parts of Baldwin County in just a few minutes. But Nicole, Scott, this is good to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, Darwin.
Very good. Thank you, Darwin.
Sure.
You see this stack of paper that I have, and Nicole's got her own stack.
Huge stack.
These are all the openings and closings and what's going on today. We'll run through a list of all kinds of things for you when we come back.
Attention Medicare recipients. If you qualify, we make sure Medicare or your insurance pays.
I called the scooter store. When they didn't call back, I called Mobility Depot and had a chair before they ever returned my call.
Because we're a local company, you don't have to wait to get the equipment that you need.
What little manhood I've got, I want to keep.
Call now, 800-393-1164.
Pawpaw has the coolest chair in town.
Welcome back, everybody. We're kind of getting used to that nice little horn toot when we come back from every break. It's the beauties of having equipment problems after a hurricane rolls through your area, but we're getting the information on to you as quickly as possible, and we'll start with some distribution centers in the area.
That's right. Let's take a look at those distribution centers. 6495 Caroline Street, Milton, Navarre High School, Bruno's in Gulf Breeze, Walmart at Tiger Point, Jay Community Center.
There are also some that are located in the Mobile area. Those include, if we have those, I can tell you which ones they include. The Pritchard Stadium, Big Lots in Saraland, Sims Community Center, the Mobile Civic Center, and the Mobile Dog Tracks.
Also more distribution centers, Morgan Ice in Robertsdale, Atlanta Bread Company just started at noon, and Spring Hill Seafood.
Major insurance claims hotlines. If you have any problems that you'd like to have addressed, you can probably find your provider here. Alpha 888-435-7765. Allstate 800-547-8676. Cincinnati Casualty 877-242-2544. Farmers 800-435-7764. Hartford, 800-243-5860.
Nationwide, 800-421-3535. State Farm, 800-732-5246. Foremost, 1-800-527-3907. American Modern, 800-375-2075.
If you have some mess that you need to take care of, here's some landfill information. It's the Cottage Hill at Leroy Stevens landfill is open. Bring your trees, bring lumber, debris. Make sure you don't bring any food items. The Magnolia landfill, McBride, Bay Minette, transfer station, all open until 3 p.m. today.
And look at gas stations now. The Chevron, 399 Azalea Road, Donovan's Car Wash on Highway 90 and I-65, Murphy's USA at South University Boulevard.
The N&N Food Mart at 3451 Spring Hill Avenue, the Old Shell Convenience Store at 6567 Old Shell, and the Citgo Super K at 7160 Airport. Also, here are some places that are open today that we've secured so far. If you know of any, please call our newsroom and we can add this to our list for later newscasts. The Bankhead and George Wallace Tunnel both open. Raceway Gas at Ziegler and Schillinger, Target in Daphne and West Mobile, Target at Bel Air opens at 6 o'clock tonight. All Dauphin Street restaurants and bars are open, and all Lowe's locations are open in Mobile and Baldwin County except the Foley location.
Now, as we were mentioning to you earlier, we got a stack of stuff here to tell you about, and we'll tell you about that as soon as we come back from our break.
When you have questions regarding investments, retirement, or estate planning, you want to speak with someone you can trust. Click on Ask the Expert at WPMI.com.
Catch the McConnell Automotive Friday Night Blitz every Friday night at 10:15 on WPMI NBC 15. If you don't make it home in time, catch it on the sports section on WPMI.com the entire season. Brought to you by Encore Rehab, the Atwell Agency, and The Freezer.
In today's fast-paced world, people place a premium on convenience. We think it's great that you can balance your checkbook, plan your next vacation, or order a pizza without ever leaving your front porch. But having an Alpha office in every county in Alabama is even better, because it means that face-to-face personal service is never more than a few minutes away. Fast, fair service. Friendly people. Alpha is Alabama.
Welcome back, everybody. We've heard about all kinds of problems on Dauphin Island. The west end of Dauphin Island was submerged well before the Hurricane Ivan even came ashore, and things just got worse after that.
That's right. John Watkins is actually there on Dauphin Island, and I talked to Alabama Power people earlier today, John. They told me Dauphin Island, it may be weeks before they get power there.
That's right, Sandra. We're looking at 3 weeks. Probably the most frustrating thing to people on Dauphin Island right now is the inability to get out on their singular cell phones. There may have been some damage to the cell tower on Dauphin Island, but what you find on the island are people.
John, you still there?
We just lost John, and
Speaking
ironically, he was talking
problems,
about cell phones.
Well, we are going to check in with Peter Albrecht in just a couple of minutes. He is with Governor Riley.
At Brookley Field.
Yeah, talking to him, who's in town to inspect the damage.
Really quickly, I guess, we're going to get to some of this new information that we got in. There is a no-burn order in Mobile County, and I guess it's obvious as to why, with all the tree limbs and everything down. Residents should place their limbs or debris in front or near the street for FEMA contractors to pick up. If it's in your yard, they will not come into your yard and pick it up. So you need to get that out of your yard and near the street where they can pick it up on the curb.
Some good news for people in Baldwin County who were hit so hard yesterday. The Walmart in Foley is opening up now. It's now open. Pockets of power being restored to neighborhoods in Foley and Gulf Shores along Highway 59. So that was relatively quick for those people who are getting their power back. And some restaurants in that area are reopening right now as well.
And then I think we also had an advisory in Pritchard where I think some distribution centers have opened. And also, if I can grab this right here.
I think that's it. There you go.
Ice and Water Distribution Center, several in Pritchard. The Pritchard Municipal Stadium, Alabama Port Fire Department, Mobile Greyhound Park, City of Mobile Civic Center, Big Lots in Saraland, and Dauphin Island City Hall and Sims Community Center off of Moffett Road. So those are a list of places that you can go if you need things from the distribution center. I should add too, Scott, when I was out yesterday at the Salvation Army, they also double as a command center. And so It's very important that they get food together to get to people in areas who need it. However, their generator went out yesterday, so a lot of that food was spoiled. So you got people that are trying to get food to people and are really having some challenges right now.
That's where it really shows where teamwork works and people come together to get things done. This is the answer to a question that a lot of people have had. I've heard this a number of times since yesterday. The Mobile Area Water and Sewer System says that the water system in Mobile is fine. You don't need to boil or conserve your water. No outages reported. Everything is fine there. No problems anticipated. So if you're in Mobile and you're worried about your drinking water, it is fine. No need to worry there.
That's good to know. And also in Baldwin County, I think that they were told to boil their water. I don't know if that's still in effect, but as of yesterday it was.
Yeah, I would imagine that's still in effect. And that was the majority of Baldwin County, especially the Gulf Shores and Orange Beach areas down that way. All the casinos on the Mississippi Gulf Coast reopened today. They are all back in operation. I believe it was 6 o'clock this morning they opened their doors once again. Let's see what else I have.
We've just got so much stuff that we can continue to update people about.
And as we get it, we'll pass it along to you. If you have anything, call us, and we'll put you on the air to tell us about it at 602-1525 or toll free 1-877-NBC-15 for you. Like we mentioned earlier, all the Lowe's locations except the Foley location are open. I believe the Home Depot stores in the area are open as well. So if you have any home improvement needs to take care of, they should be pretty stocked up by now after being hit so hard right before the hurricane. You should be able to find what you need.
Also, if you know about some openings in your area that we haven't reported, we'd love to hear about that, because the more gas stations and stores that we know about that are opening, the better, and we can bring it to you.
And here's something. If you're on the road, be careful. Use those intersections as four-way stop signs. Jim was out there earlier trying to report for us and tell us what it was like, and it was a madhouse. It was crazy out there. He had to come back because he feared for his own safety. So be careful if you're on the roads. When we come back from this short break, we're going to try and link up with Peter Albrecht, who is with Alabama Governor Bob Riley. Stay with us.
NBC Premiere Monday starts with an all-new Fear Factor. All we have to say about this stunt, bring in the eels. Next, an all-new Las Vegas. John Lovitz guest stars as a not-so-secret admirer.
I have come here to woo you.
Then Heather Locklear and Blair Underwood in an all-new LAX. Critics rate never a dull moment. Let's go. And Heather is sexy as ever. Fear Factor, Las Vegas and LAX, NBC Premiere Monday.
You're watching NBC 15 WPMI Television, Mobile, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach.
Welcome back. We're live here, and obviously we've been giving you continuing coverage on the cleanup efforts. Right now we have Peter Albrecht, who's live out at Brookley Field right now.
Governor Riley in town to inspect some of the damage caused by Hurricane Ivan. Good afternoon, Peter.
Okay, little communication problems, but we're all set now. We're at Brookley Field, where 3 helicopters with various officials have gone up to get an aerial view of the damage. One of those helicopters has come back in. Mobile County Commissioner Stephen Nodine was on that helicopter. And all right, Steve, let's just maybe go geographically. I know you covered the whole area. Let's start, let's say, at Fort Morgan and move your way over and describe for us what you were able to see from the air.
Just extraordinary damage, particularly the Gulf Shores and Orange Beach area in Pensacola. We flew over the I-10 bridge that had been breached. Just extraordinary what Mother Nature can do, and it's going to be quite a long time before we get back to normal over in that area.
Let's talk about the condominiums right at the beachfront at Gulf Shores. What kind of damage, the smaller ones and also the larger high-rise condos?
Well, complete devastation for the smaller ones in the homes, of course, but the Phoenixes, again, built out of solid poured concrete, withstood it a little better than the most, but to see a 6-story condominium made out of concrete toppled over just gives you an idea what Mother Nature can do, and it's complete devastation over there.
The roadways washed out in certain spots and impassable everywhere pretty much?
Yes, you know, some spots you can't even see that there is a road. Most spots are covered with sand, but the breaches from the bay into the ocean was quite extraordinary. In many areas, the breaches are almost probably a half-mile long, and it's going to be, again, quite some time before we're able to get to those areas.
And so the water hasn't receded significantly from those areas?
A little bit, but it's going to be probably another 2 days before that water does recede to where we can get emergency vehicles down in that area.
Other than the I-10 bridge over Escambia Bay, Did you see any other structural problems with any bridges that we're going to have to be concerned about?
No, again, the Perdido Pass looks as though it withstood it. Again, the Toll Bridge Orange Beach Expressway withstood it. Getting over to Dolphin Island and Commissioner Dean's district looked like it withstood it a little bit. The structural damage on Dolphin Island was not as extensive. And again, we should be very thankful to God that unfortunately the storm did jog to the east. And it's just, it's unfortunate, but I'm sure we'll rebuild after we get back to normal and start all over again.
Did you touch down and get out at all and walk around?
No, we did not. The governor, Senator Sessions, and Senator Shelby stopped in Orange Beach, and we continued onward to take a look at Dolphin Island and some of the other areas.
Okay, thank you very much. Stephen Nodine, Mobile County Commissioner, who did fly over the damaged areas, just got back here to Brookley Field a few minutes ago. As he mentioned, Governor Riley, along with Senators Sessions and Shelby right now, are still completing their aerial tour. They did get on the ground in Orange Beach along with the FEMA Director, Michael Brown, and they're expected back here at Brookley Field within about a half an hour, we're hoping, and at that time we are going to show you the video that was shot from the helicopter that those officials were on, and we will have the latest information. We'll be back then live.
All right, thank you very much,
Peter.
Peter. And yeah, we'll have more on that later in our newscast today. And when we come back, Sandra Shaw is going to join us with some more updates.
Thank you. Stay with us.
NBC Tonight starts with the premiere of Third Watch. Last year, a madman waged war on the police. Now they're fighting back. And someone will make the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh my God.
Then, on an all-new medical investigation, when soldiers are attacked by an unknown virus.
The military hasn't told us everything.
The war comes home.
Our fear is we're dealing with a new biological weapon. Are they dying?
Not without a fight. It all starts with Dateline, followed by the Third Watch premiere and medical investigation. All new NBC Tonight. NBC Premiere Monday starts with an all-new Fear Factor. All we have to say about this stunt, bring in the eels. Next, an all-new Las Vegas. John Lovett's guest stars as a not-so-secret admirer.
I have come here to woo you.
Then Heather Locklear and Blair Underwood in an all-new LAX. Critics rate never a dull moment.
Let's go.
And Heather is sexy as ever. Fear Factor, Las Vegas and LAX, NBC Premiere Monday. Every American has their dream.
Your brother is over there fighting in that war.
Every generation has its conflict.
Hell no! We won't go!
Every decade has its fight.
Get out! Get out! Start a revolution! Start a revolution!
Sundays after the Olympics, the revolution is just beginning.
Get out!
American Dreams returns Sunday, September 26th on NBC.
Welcome back, everybody. We're continuing our Hurricane Ivan aftermath coverage, and Sandra Shaw is here with us now.
Hi, Sandra. Sandra has a lot of updates on things that you need to know about what's going on, what's open.
Right. Things are coming into us constantly, so we just came out here to bring them to you. And basically, first of all, ice and water distribution, a big deal today. A lot of people in need of that. And here in Mobile, there's several places where you can get that. First of all, Pritchard Municipal Stadium in Pritchard, Alabama. The Alabama Port Fire Department, a place where you can get that. The Mobile Greyhound Park, a place. The City of Mobile Civic Center, Big Lots, Dolphin Island City Hall, and at the Sems Community Center. And basically that started at 12:30 today, and it's going to be going on until they have enough supplies, basically. So again, ice and water distribution, several different centers there. Also, there's a no burn early in effect. I know you're just talking about that because of all the debris and everything on the streets. You don't want to do that. Driving an issue. Treat every stoplight like a four-way stop. People are totally disregarding that, so there's problems there. The Walmart in Foley is open. Of course, Foley suffered significant damage, and basically the Walmart's open there, so a lot of people, if you need extra supplies, you can go on and check that out. Also, the Compass Bank has announced branch openings. That's taking place as well. All Central, Northern, and Southeast Alabama branches are now open again. So some banking reports, and we're still getting some information from Pensacola simply about the devastation over there. And a couple quick facts we may have touched on earlier, but Gulf Power is reporting that more than 364,000 of its 405,000 customers are without power. We're talking total devastation. They're saying it could be up to a month or so, even longer before it's restored there. Only a third of Escambia County's wells are operating. Tens of thousands of people do not have running water over in Pensacola. And let's see, what else did they say here? They said that every school in Escambia County, Nicole, has suffered some sort of damage. They did an assessment of that yesterday as well. Most people, of course, don't have power. They don't have a way to charge their cell phones either, so there's a distinct lack of communication in Pensacola as well. And there's a big transportation problem as well, because you have the I-10 bridge over Escambia Bay, which is out. You also have the Bob Sykes Bridge, which is out. Major roads that are flooded. I guess South Palafox Street all the way to Garden is underwater today as well. So still new visuals coming in from Pensacola, but just a dire situation over there. Total devastation.
And I think the main thing for most people is just to, this is so hard for people to do, but just be patient and use common sense, because you don't want to go, especially if you're in a low-lying area, to retrieve your stuff, as we saw earlier. I mean, with those flood waters getting high and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, we're taking a look at some of that devastation right now.
And that's some of that Gulf Shores video where the storm surge came up from the beach about 1.5 miles inland, Waterville, USA. You can see right there, and I mean, that's not where water's supposed to be. If you look past the roller coaster to the left, that's not where water usually is. So it's a situation that is really unbelievable to the eye when you see water come in that high and so much sand spread all over the place. But you see the video, and what is hard to believe becomes very believable. And you really feel for the people in that area that have to go through this whole cleanup process now.
And as for our reporters, that went over there, like Leah Brennan, were just telling me to just see this with your naked eye, not just the video. It's just utter chaos.
Yeah, because with the video, you don't have the ability to look around. You see what the camera shows you, but I imagine when you're there and you're in person, it's just the damage is overwhelming.
It's been equated to a war zone, and I mean, the other thing is they have a lot of people who are unaccounted for. 7 deaths already, and those are the ones they know about in Escambia County. Some victims of flooding in a neighborhood in Escambia County. Of course, that tree that fell on that 12-year-old girl, and there are many, many people that are unaccounted for. As far as Pensacola Beach goes, the reports are initially that there's not one building or home that really isn't completely destroyed or suffered some sort of initial distinct damage. So, a very sobering situation. They said they're going to go start looking for people who are missing today.
Wow.
As well, in addition to everything else over there.
And the water, just looking at this video, the magnitude of the water is really incredible. This looks like a lot of boat houses, houseboats that are just sitting out on the water. And look at these places. This is up a story, 2 stories in some cases it appears to be. You're not seeing the ground level. It's not like this is a little bit of water. This is 10 feet of water easily that is up in this area right now.
And when you see this kind of devastation, there's really nothing a lot of people can do. A lot of people are just helpless at this point. I was talking to Jason Robbins, one of our photographers earlier, who lives in Pensacola. He said his home suffered major damage, and pretty much he said he thinks he's going to be living primitively for about a month or better.
And that's a sobering thought for a lot of people. Sandra a second ago mentioned the power situation in Florida. Right now, the Alabama power situation, 190,000 people without power. At the height of the storm, 201,000 people were without power. So about 11,000 people have seen their power restored since the height of the storm.
Which is a good thing, because they are working around the clock. And one of the power guys told me that bear with them. They are getting crews over, but Mobile is just servicing Mobile. Montgomery is just servicing Montgomery. So you can't live in another area of Alabama and expect power people to come to your area from that area. They're working with the resources they have.
Let's go back to John Watkins now, who has found his way onto Dauphin Island, and check out the situation there. John, is it as bad as you thought it would be?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no.
Are you still there? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we lost you.
And no, I would treat the causeway is open. Traffic.
That connection is just not a real good connection right now. We'll try and get back to John.
Not a very good connection at all. We just got this in just now that the bus service will resume Saturday in Mobile for 6 fixed routes, and special needs service starts on Monday.
All right, let's check in with meteorologist Jim Losnick, who we said earlier hit the road a little while ago and tried to go out and report for us and tell us exactly what was open and what you were seeing out there. Pretty bad experience for you, wasn't it?
Well, it's like it's almost like a NASCAR event at a short track race, and I equated that because it's a short track race because all the cars are bunched together. It's a NASCAR race because everybody's trying to go someplace really, really fast, which I don't understand that whole philosophy of where they're trying to go very fast. When I left here at the station, went all the way up to Azalea, went to Government, all the way up to Tillman's Corner, came back on the interstate, back around to Midtown, and came up from Midtown back into the Beltline area. Pretty much on that entire trip, maybe 10 stoplights were working out of about, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand.
That's an improvement from yesterday, though. I went down that area.
is.
There was nothing between Midtown and Hillcrest yesterday. So
Well, those
that's
lights are
improvement.
working, at least as far as I know, in the airport. Up towards the mall, towards the interstate. Now, each of those exits on the interstate, there are policemen there working because the traffic is that bad. But the biggest thing I'm noticing is that people want to get out and they want to get where they want to go, but they're paying absolutely no regard to the four-way stop situation of these lights. And literally 3 or 4 times, people were running through the stop signs, not watching for other cars, and we almost witnessed 4 wrecks. 3 or 4 times actually was cut off because someone wanted to pull in front of me just to turn at a stoplight. So it's just really a dangerous situation. And another thing we're seeing is that all the gasoline situation. You're getting gas situations that you go a mile for a gas, or you see a gas station, you go a mile or 2 before you see another gas station. So all the cars are packed into one distinct location, and they're backing up the intersections all over the place. So making for a terrific time just trying to get through traffic with everybody fighting for gas.
As good as people can be in times like this, as we look at some downtown Mobile video during the height of the hurricane, as good as people can be at times like this, it seems like at the same time when their backs against the wall, the animal instinct in people comes out a little bit.
Everybody's sort of thinking about themselves, but you have to keep in mind everybody is in the same situation.
I think it's one of those situations where everybody yesterday was cooped up. Wherever they were in a shelter, where they had to stay, they were being asked to stay. Today is a little bit different day because they can kind of get out because there's been a little bit of cleanup, at least in Mobile. And so people are getting out, trying to get water. We have all these stores are opening. People are giving away things, so people want to get out and get these things. And they were trying to do it now before the curfew starts again tonight. And it's an absolute madhouse. And on the interstate as well, I was on the interstate for just a little bit. I know on I-10 coming in from the west, they have signs like every half mile, huge blinking signs saying, do not use I-10 East. All roads to Pensacola are closed. So I can't imagine what the people there are thinking when they're driving through I-10 westbound and it says all roads to Pensacola are closed. The people that had to evacuate that area, they're having to be rerouted way up through Evergreen, I believe, and through Atmore to get back to Pensacola on back roads. Also coming up on I-65, coming back into Mobile, numerous County 5 tag cars. That's the Baldwin County tag cars with, we're talking not one person driving, we got a person driving and about 8 people in the vehicles with them with stuff packed to the roof. So they're trying to come back to their homes and get back to their lives. So there's a lot of traffic. And there's going to be a lot of that today. So just be real cautious. You're going to be out there driving around because it is really dangerous right now. And if you don't have to be out, don't do it. I'm not going back out unless I have to go home.
Stay safe.
But I don't want to go back out unless I have to go home.
Thank you, Jim. And that video you just saw was a new live angle. I mean, a new live picture. That was a different angle of the Escambia Bay Bridge in Pensacola that is severely damaged, as you can see. And it'll probably be quite some time before that reopens, obviously.
And we'll be back with more as people try to pick up the pieces from Ivan.
In 14 years, Law & Order has never had a season premiere like this.
There's a war going on.
Ripped from the headlines, prisoner, scandal.
What if one of your ex-prisoners came out looking for a little revenge?
The season premiere.
A murdered soldier.
Everyone will be talking about. It was payback. Dennis Farina joins the cast. 2 hours of all new Law & Order at an early time, 9/8 Central. NBC Wednesday, September 22nd.
It's all about accountability. Why won't you answer our questions? Public officials should be held responsible for their actions.
You did it to me. All I can say, you did it to me.
Think of us as your local watchdog.
I'm a little shocked you had that freedom of access.
We're going to ask the tough questions.
I'm not even intimidated by it because I know I'm right.
Because you have a right to know.
Investigative reporter Josh Bernstein, only on NBC 15 News. NBC 15 and News Radio 710 WPMI, Mobile source for news. Southern Link wants you prepared for severe weather. To keep your family safe, make a plan now for what to do with your pets if you need to evacuate. To learn more about protecting your home and family from severe weather damage, log on to WPMI.com and visit the Hurricane Center on our weather page.
Coming soon to Azalea Road in Mobile.
Hurricane Ivan knocking out phone service to more than 145,000 Bell South customers in Alabama and 156,700 customers in the Florida Panhandle. Bell South says the actual time it will take to restore the service depends upon the availability, of course, of electrical power. You can call Bell South for repairs in Alabama at 877-737-2478. In Florida, call 1-888-757-6500. That's residential customers only.
And if you're without phone service, it can be very frustrating. But as NBC 15's Darwin Singleton reports, you may be able to fix the problem yourself.
It's probably happened to you, too. You're sitting at the piano playing your favorite Bach invention, and then suddenly lightning. The power goes out, and what's worse, the telephone is out, too. Your first reaction is to call the phone company. Of course, you have no phone, and anyway...
With all of the rain that we've had, often when you call after a thunderstorm, you're among hundreds of other people who are having difficulties, and you can expect maybe a 3-day delay before we can get to you to check out your phones.
But the folks at Bell South say 25% of the time, you or even I can fix the problem ourselves if we know how. And Eddie is here to show us how.
Hey, Darwin, how you doing today?
Well, not real well. My phone doesn't work. What do I need to do?
Well, we need to go find the box on the side of the house. You have a box on the side of the house like this? Have you checked it yet?
No, I haven't. So there's one on my house that looks something like this.
Similar, very similar to this in some cases. Smaller, larger, but it will say Bell South on the outside.
Eddie says this box is kind of like the doorway between your house and the telephone company. But before we do anything, he tells me to go inside the house and unplug anything connected to the phone line. That includes phones, burglar alarms, DirecTV, TiVo, the computer. Why? Because one of those appliances could be the culprit that seized up the phone service when the lightning struck. Done. Now, let's go back outside and look for that gray box. Is this the box here?
That's it.
All right. Okay, that's a little bit small. Is that just a little bit smaller?
It's just a newer model.
It's newer.
It says telephone network interface.
All right, so we're going to open that up.
Right.
This is where the telephone service comes into the house, and it could enter through one of 3 different types of connectors. A push-pull connection, just like where your phone plugs into the wall, or one of 2 toggle-style connectors. Either way, Eddie says unplug it and wait 1 minute. Very important. Then it's time to do a simple test to see if the service has been reset and is still coming into your house. Now, you can't use a cordless phone, just a simple phone that doesn't require electricity. Just plug it into the box. If you hear a dial tone, you have reset your service. Time to go back in and check everything else. After all of this, you still don't have service inside your house, but you still do outside your house? Well, then it's probably a wiring or a jack problem. You may have to call the phone company to come and check the wiring. If you have the monthly wiring service plan, it will be included. If not, you may have to pay for it. Either way, you can still make that phone call to the phone company. You just have to plug in on the outside of your house to make the call. It's worth checking. In Mobile, here's Darwin, NBC 15 News.
And I know that's what saved me, having a phone with the cord. Now you realize the importance of having one because everybody has cordless phones now, just about.
Yeah, it makes life a little bit easier when you think about it that way. We're about to head to a break, come back for another 10 minutes at the top of the hour to recap some things for you. But first, I want to remind you that you can hear our simulcast throughout the afternoon for the first 10 minutes of the hour, our updates on our Clear Channel radio partners, at least the ones who are still on the air. I believe those are 96.1 The Rocket and Light Mix 99.9. The others were knocked off the air, but hopefully we'll be back on the air sometime in the not too distant future. And we're streaming live on the internet at WPMI.com. Because of our tower problems, we're not broadcasting in the way that we normally do, so you can catch us on the internet, WPMI.com, and also on WJTC UPN 44. Our new newscast right now is being broadcast there, and our later newscast, I believe, will be broadcast there as well.
We've got a lot of people streaming on the internet. Just keep doing that, people from different countries and things, so it's really great. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll bring you more on Ivan.
there's a whole new side to the dairy you love. Clinical studies show milk, cheese, and yogurt actually help the body burn more fat when you make 3 servings a day part of your weight loss plan. So, when you're cutting calories, make it 3 servings of dairy every day.
1, 2, 3.
Like what you see? Learn more at 3aday.org.
Catch the McConnell Automotive Friday Night Blitz every Friday night at 10:15 on WPMI NBC 15. If you don't make it home in time, catch it on the sports section on WPMI.com for the entire season. Brought to you by Citradel Marketplace, ExxonMobil, and J&J Furniture.
On the next Jane Pauley Show, a whole new you. In an hour, lunch hour makeovers on the next Jane Pauley Show.
Today at 3 on NBC 15.